But we created this solar project,
Right.
and it's on the ground now. We're on the ground. We're doing site work for the utility buildings that are going to house all the parts and pieces and protect these parts and pieces. And so we have 37 elders that were working at the homes of 37. And then now we're finding out that half of them don't have wiring, so we're going to have to rewire, and that's not part of the scope, or they're not allowed at the budget from the USDA, and then also from the RIFE funds do not cover that. And so I'm also doing fundraising, and I'm asking for donations too, and in that respect. I think I know, and I sincerely believe solar electricity is the answer, especially in the Southwest, especially in a place where we have virtually year-round. We have,
I know.
sun.
It's like a no-brainer, but too often things...
No-brainer, you would think so. I mean, and then you have, here's what's going on. We're demanding that the Navajo generating station, Kayenta Mine supplies that generating station with electricity. And then electricity is made, and then, of course, all of the electricity powers all of Arizona down southwest and into Southern California and Las Vegas. And then that power also lifts water from the Colorado River and delivers water to all of these metropolitan areas in Arizona, and then the southern farms, and then down to Tucson. And then we're still hauling water in 55-gallon barrels, contaminated barrels at that. I mean, it's not, our water transfer is so archaic and unsafe. A lot of people have intestinal problems because of it.
And you talk about the potential of solar and all that stuff.
Yes.
But I wonder about, to build expanding electric power lines, making the switch away from these big, central power plants, coal and uranium plants into solar can cost a heck of a lot of money. I can imagine, there's still that huge demand for electricity in Las Vegas and places like that. What kind of access to the financing might there be? Might there be federal funding? I would think that this would be something that finance agencies might be interested in. You invest X amount of dollars, you get X amount back. I would think that for the Navajo to be in the driver's seat might be a good thing. But how possible is this? Where's the financing going to come from?
Well, I think if the federal government mandates a transition, I think it could be pretty powerful. But right now, John Boehner and his outfit, they're so anti renewable energy, and then with what happened with Solyndra. I mean, those things are just I think the roadblocks. But here in the state, I'm just amazed that our own governor can't even see the potential, because the utility owners are the ones that really play the cards, and like
Absolutely.
Arizona Public Service, APS, SRP, which is Salt River Project, Tucson Electric, they're the ones that really. I mean, I think utility and elected officials go hand in hand. We're always up against the odds, but we do have a lot of people that are realizing, what? Yes, it is expensive at the beginning, but then in the long run, we save, and then it doesn't have any health impediments. It doesn't have any negative influence on the earth and the air, and so there was two studies done. In May 2011, one study was the APS, which is Arizona Public Service Informed Perception Project report. 94% of the people surveyed wanted an increase in the use of solar as a part of the state's energy portfolio. 82% want an increased use of wind power. And they said that getting energy from sources that will never be used up. And that's a quote, from one of the people that was interviewed. And second most important issue was related to renewable energy as well, minimizing pollution, because even in the outside of Navajo Nation, within the Southwest, people are really seeing the impacts of the, respiratory diseases and cancers, brought on by these coal-fired plants. And in this opinion, coal was perceived as the most harmful to the environment.
No question.
And coal is the only source in which participants favored a reduction in use. So, solar was ranking,
oh, sure,
way on top.
Well, let me just ask you about part of the problem, I would think, for the Navajo Nation is losing young people. They want to have a future, of course, and keeping the tradition and the memory, the incredibly important memory of the elders alive. And it seems to me, I'm just thinking that perhaps through this solar project and a brighter solar future, it can perhaps help work with the elders as well as keep young people, with an economic future in Navajo Nation. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's great. I know it sounds like it's doable, and it's been tried. My niece with Wahala, she has her organization. They do like a youth summit every summer and try to really get these kids educated and aware of the environment and, the importance of maintaining and fighting for the environment. So I think there's a crop of new folks coming up, which is great. And but everything is usually a dead end at the central government, tribal, the president. He doesn't. I mean, there was a survey done, on the impact. Like my brother will tell you that, around our community, there's the closest hospital is about 50 miles away.
Right.
And in a couple of years ago, when the school kids were being given the H1N1, 110 school kids were taken to the Chinle Hospital, and only 40 were able to get their shots because the rest of them had respiratory, issues.
Right.
And and then going back to the study, I'm sorry, but I wanted to really also tell you that another study was done last year, Arizona voter polling, and the key findings. This is all about where people get their electricity or power, and their everybody. I think it was 82% of those people that were polled or surveyed said, "Let's go to solar." I mean, you would think that should speak to our governor. There's two sources done, independent surveys done, and everybody is saying, almost 90% saying, let's go to solar. And I want to see that happen. So that's one of the reasons why I do what I do. And in Navajo, I mean, we say hojo.
Yes.
Hojo means, harmony, balance, and also beauty. And a huge part of our philosophy and our way of life is maintaining harmony. And harmony is the driving force in Navajo life. And I think that with, a solar project, the solar power doesn't impact, people. It doesn't impact the air and the land.
It keeps harmony.
I think it's, harmony.
It's a good word for all of us to learn. Hoja?
And then we have the sun, that generates that electricity.
Sure.
I mean, and so why can't we do this? And
we have
I think it's because of political will.
Yes.
If political will was there, it would be done. But right now, the utility companies are so powerful. I mean, the lobbyists,
That's the history of the far
Peabody,
west.
Peabody's a $10 billion company, and here we are. We're just little grassroots people. It's like fighting Goliath, we're not going to give up.
Right. People sympathize with Davids, and the Davids often win. Let me just ask real quickly, if people want to read more about the Ina Foundation, there must be something on the web you can direct them to?
Yes. We are at IINASOLUTIONS.com, which is inasolutions.com.
All right. Well, hopefully people look at that. And I did want to read one thing from a book I just finished, and I'm going to be interviewing this author soon. This is about the First Nations in Canada. There's a new game in town where First Nations are driving outcomes across the board and trying to achieve a balance between their land, history, the modern economy, and the future. And just one other quote: communalistic, environmentally minded, and female-dominated, the people of First Nation will have a very different approach to the global challenges of the 21st century than that of other nations of the continent and the world. And it's already started in Greenland. First Nation is building a series of nation states of its own, giving North America's indigenous people a chance to show the rest of the world how they would blend postmodern life with pre-modern folkways. Elsa Johnson, thank you so much. Again, it's inasolutions.com. Thanks very much for being a guest with us today on The Bert Cohen Show.
Thank you, Bert.
And best of luck.